Like, at least one notification would be good. Guys, this is Bronze Boot Camp. Here again this morning. I am haberdashing, joined by Crazy Phil, Horse
Yo.
Doctor, and Dark Nerd 99. We're all here to help you guys get better at League. This is a game mode open for people level 30 to Silver 5. You guys come in, we talk and comment, and then you can go back and watch the VODs to see what you can improve on. Don't forget, this is all done through the Trinity Network, I should say. You can find out more about them at www.trinityforcepodcast.com. Check out all the different podcasts there. We got the proper Oz LOL, LCS Rundown, Four Awards podcast. So if you like anything about League of Legends, whether it's the competitive scene, the game analysis, or just learning something new, there's something there for you guys. So go ahead, check it out. While you're there, sign up for Bronze Boot Camp and find out more about the Battle Arena. All that information is up there. We have the sign-up sheet go live every week after Bronze Boot Camp this Saturday. So go ahead, sign up there for games. And yeah, I think that's it. So let's talk a little bit about picking bands.
Okay, so when you're in solo queue and when you have the option to pick and ban,
Vladimir ban Kappa.
should you ban people which you know you're not good against, or should you ban like the OP champions like Sejuani, Gragas, those sort of champions?
If you know you're playing into a matchup where you're not comfortable with, it's okay for a certain time, but you really need to learn to play against that champion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Really, from like a statistical level, if there are 4 like variables in your team and 5 in the other team, so something's 55% win rate and you don't ban it, they're more likely to get it, and at 55% being greater than 50, you're decreasing your odds of winning the game. But
Let's take it the other way here. Say you're playing like top lane, and say you play Nasus, and when you're playing Nasus, you have a 50% win rate, but when you're not playing against a Riven, you have a 60% win rate. Does that justify banning out Riven?
no.
if you can beat everything else, it's not the worst. But
there-
if you're doing that, you're under the assumption you're first pick, and if you first pick Nasus, you need to be able to play other things than Riven. But if it's like just Riven in a vacuum, that's okay.
Yeah.
I think at this point, like junglers, and it's been like this for a few seasons, junglers have way more priority than laners at this point, because especially champions like Sion, Nasus, any tanks at this point, especially in the current meta, it's no matter what, because of the way items are right now, you shouldn't be in a position where you can die easily unless it's with a tower dive by a Vi or a Sedge. So you kind of want to remove stuff like that off the board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me personally, I like to pick bands that I'm not personally good with. When I was learning Aurelia and ranked, like I would, for some reason, I always saw Fiora in my ranked games, and I would always get my poop kicked in. So I would tell everyone to ban that champion, and because of it, I won more ranked games because of it.
You got your poo kicked in.
I didn't want to swear. I'm sorry.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, man, like get your words
Children
in order.
watch this. Come on.
I like to
And
see
children
it
learn to
as,
swear when they're 5 years old at this point.
Yeah, I've seen a kid learn how to swear at 2, but you know what? That's
I mean,
That's probably
you can
just bad
talk, you can
parenting.
swear.
Anyways,
Azirpic's good if you're good at him. I don't think most
That's
people
the
can play
thing.
the counters that well.
yeah,
So
Zero's
hard, though.
really hard. Like, it's better if you know like how to play
Whoa.
AD carry.
First picking Twitch, not okay. I love Twitch, but that's so scary. Alright, Liam.
Ike's in a really bad spot right now, but that's just me. It's a really bad spot because of tank meta.
Who?
Twitch isn't like
Twitch.
Vayne, though.
Twitch.
Vayne has the potential to outplay lanes and go even.
Yeah,
Twitch just
Twitch
gets
doesn't.
trashed.
Mhm.
Yeah. And like Twitch was really strong in the earlier metas where he could kind of stuff behind and catch an entire team by surprise, and he could basically kill everyone because his autos would go through everyone.
Mhm.
The issue now is that that's completely irrelevant when there are 4 people on the enemy team that have Frozen Heart and Randuin.
Yeah,
He's still really good
but he
against
worked more in the
tanks.
day of like the Wombos, like after the like Curse of the Sad Bullet time.
I don't think it was a meta at all. They like took 40 base health off him and made his poison way weaker, and then he just like lost lane too hard to even play.
Mm-hmm.
I agree though. Now he just
whatever.
dumpstered pretty hard.
He does well against tanks though. You just don't go the
Bobby.
Bork Ghostblade build.
Yeah, shout out here. If any of you guys watching haven't bought one yet, you can go to teespring.com / what is it? Fuck. Trinity. Fuck, I need to look this up. Anyways, we have a t-shirt, the Optimus Poppy t-shirt, available right now. If you go to reddit.com / r/ Trinity Force Network, it's one of the top posts right now. I will link it in chat.
Who's one mid?
Teespring.com / tforcepoppy.
Did you link it in chat?
I will
linking it
say,
right now.
Adam has challenged us, saying that we can't get over 100 shirts. Prove him wrong. Go.
Okay. I thought my chat was broken for a second.
And if we do get 50, he will build Frozen Mallet in every single game.
Oh, it's
I wanna do
75, isn't
But
it?
like, I don't want a Poppy shirt. I got the declared one, so I don't feel
Yeah,
bad.
that's the thing. Like, it's an Optimus. It's a Poppy t-shirt.
I would still buy. I straight up still would buy it, but I had to buy a new monitor, as people on the Facebooks would know. So
I want to buy a shirt that has Udyr's body and Cheer's head, and then I want to see tears coming down from his eyes.
Okay.
I'd be down to buy that.
trademarked right now, people.
Next idea is coming through.
He likes the tear Udyr. Oh, Orion's a good pick in the Azir. Azir's really strong, like 1 through 5 before ult in a lot of matchups, but Oriana can deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like honestly, Twitch should lose this matchup bot lane. It's
Very hard.
like Twitch in general lose. He loses against a lot of like really aggressive matchups because he can't really respond to them with like trading properly, because his trades are reliant on him getting stacks off.
Also, it's not what he needed.
Yeah, but in this situation, he had Janna or Alistair to negate the Leona, and Janna would have just been a even bigger cannon fodder. Well, smaller, more flaky, insta-die cannon fodder. While Alistair at least can hold his own in a situation where Grave
Janna
all
lets
ends
you
him.
trade. Alistair lets you like disengage or fight, but in either of those scenarios, like Leona Graves still wins.
Yeah, but Graves against Twitch in general should win really hard.
Yeah. Janna, you can just like E the Graves Q, and then you can go okay, especially if you disengage Leona. Janna just counters Leona so hard she can make a lot of Leona lanes go even when they shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Alistair's just kind of like gimped in lane a lot of the time.
Yeah, but Graves can also 100-0 Leona. Not Leona, Janna, like really easily.
Janna has to be really bad to let that happen, and not like run armor runes or sightstone. But top lane, Nar needs to make sure he keeps Shyvana down. He should win the lane early. She has TP smite. Take advantage of the fact she doesn't have summoners. Zion should look to gank it, and you really want to keep Shyvana like behind where she wants to be as far as power spikes. Because if she just gets to free farm, the Cinderhulk is too strong.
You also want to try to smash her into a wall as she flies away.
You can do that.
Versus a Shyvana, you definitely want to try your best to keep the wave either even or towards Shyvana, because if at any point Shyvana gets the wave to your turret, she can start invading the enemy jungle and start taking camps from Sion, which would be really troublesome for him.
Yeah, if you see Shyvana like Wing on top of the wave and eating the wave and not eating you or something, or queuing the wave and not queuing you, you really need to go like hard on her because she's like pushing right in front of you.
The other thing is she can't really CS amazingly under turret, especially if she's trying to fight you in it. because she completely destroys her ability to CS under turret when she uses her burnout or whatever it's called, or W.
Yeah, that's burnout.
Be a good Shyvana skin, but we'll see.
Okay.
And I have yet to see a good Shyvana try this BS cheese.
Mid lane's a skill matchup though, and
That'll be
the
interesting.
purple team is got an advantage that they were really strong early game bot lane in Volibear to kind of carry 2 late game picks through. So they actually have a pretty balanced comp. And blue team actually has a pretty balanced comp as well, with 2 tanks. Orianna, who's pretty strong early, and then strong again late, and then like a hyper carry in Twitch. I actually like the comps on both teams are pretty good. The only real issue I had was like the bot lane being as weak as it is. And picking like a 3rd tank in All-Star. I don't know. I think Jonah's just like overpowered, and he should pick her if they have Leona. But if you can't play Jonah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's better to play what you know.
Just Jonah into like Volibear, Leona, and Shyvana. Like no gap closure besides ultimate Shyvana. Jonah would be so good here. Not even reasonable.
Yeah, especially since Janna can deny that ult.
Yeah, Janna might be a good choice, but we don't know if this guy actually can play Janna well or not.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Not to mention, this is also like a solo thing, so it's just like I personally at least don't like picking Janna when I'm not really sure the capabilities of my AD carry, because Janna is basically like you're worthless if you have a worthless ADC.
He's got a pretty good lane phase if you're like a dominant support and you can actually win lanes.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a lot easier to make your AD carry good. Just how much defenses you're able to give them. But yeah, I agree. Like, it's not a lane that you yourself carry. You're there basically to be the.
You're basically, instead of being the babysitter, you're the god dang it, training wheels.
Sure. Yeah.
Jonna's good. I mean, I personally think she's been the best support in solo queue since like season 2. I think there was like a brief period before Annie got nerfed at the end of season 3.
I'd say Morgana has always like really had like the whole permaban Morgana in season 1 and then early into season 2.
Well, that was for mid lane, not support.
Yeah, but I still played her. Don't judge me.
Do you know that like when they were talking about the summoner's code, and like they said, don't get mad at people for picking stuff that isn't normal. They had an example of the Morgana support. They thought that was weird.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
Are you guys trying to make us feel old?
Yes, I feel so old playing this game. There was a post on the subreddit a few days ago about someone who's complaining they didn't get their season 1 bronze reward, but then they forgot that in season 1 and season 2, you didn't get bronze just because you played games. There was an actual entry level to getting bronze.
Yeah, that's why I didn't get my Victoria's Janna skin in season 2. Man.
What?
That's why I didn't get Victoria's Janna in season 2. That's why I'm stopped. Screw you, Riot.
What?
Screw you guys.
It's still gold for that.
No, I know, but there are reasons why I didn't put that much effort into it.
Sure.
What are you talking about?
I really wanted that skin.
Oh, I have it, you jelly.
Yeah.
How much you paid
Man
for
can
that
dream.
I hit level 30 with like 3 or 4 weeks left, and I was like, alright, I gotta get gold, boys.
I really like that Ori skin.
Summoner's Rift up in this motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so who's skilling already?
Also, no.
We need a soundboard and a button that.
Alright, like the entire.
Azir, why'd you put a point into that already?
Yeah, screw.
Oh wonder
you troll.
Yeah.
Alright, we got 30 seconds until
Like Azir's the only person that really should be. Because he has to. Do you even
Okay.
get a chance to level up anything at level 1, or does it automatically do that?
You can't level up anything other than that, I believe.
Okay.
Like
It's
the
easy.
other two options are grayed out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, first things first. Shyvana decided to get her flame breath first. In all honesty, she should have got her burnout and do a wave level 1. I mean, do a jungle camp. Yeah.
Yes. Especially when you use my teeth. Lucy
And-
did a good job of warding her out, though, in all honesty. Oh, she's in a
Yeah,
really
there's
good
no way
spot.
she can do a jungle camp with flame breath.
Mm-hmm.
At least fast, at least.
Naruto's being an asshole.
Yeah, they really screwed Shyvana. She should have backed, though. She's like going to lane with that health now.
Honestly, I just camp at that point.
If I was Nara, I would just volley her in front of her creep bush. I wouldn't even let her get to it, and then I would just like take EXP and not farm it.
Like Nar should have noticed that, not Nar, Siobhan should have noticed that Nar didn't place a ward down, so she should have just done that camp and then backed and done the cheese. Like sure it would have been delayed, but it's better than going into lane with an eighth of your health missing.
Wolver wants to start small camp too. The starting a big buff is not good. And now he's gonna take his small camp. What? I'm so confused. I'm gonna watch it differently.
Yeah, they can't get that Shyvana.
So when you're winning this hard bot, like if Alistair's not even there, don't push it as hard as you did, and try and freeze the next wave a little bit when it comes up. Because you can't fully twitch as hard as you'd like to now, because you're just gonna put it in his tower.
Yeah.
It's really easy against Alistar too, because if he doesn't like think about when he heals and he heals in the wave, it's really easy to control wave on him. I think one of the biggest issues with Alistar support. Really easy to freeze on him when he loses. He heals creeps.
Yeah, but it's also really easy to people CSing up that way.
Yeah.
Especially under turret.
So Oriana wants to. I talked about this last game, but Oriana's kind of like Kate. She's got a really good lane, and then she's kind of weird in the mid game, although Oriana's utility, and then she comes back really hard with like 4 or 5 items. But if you're
Is there-
missing
you
a lot of
shouldn't be-
creeps,
Yeah, you
What?
shouldn't be trying to push this hard.
that's good though. She's gonna have 1 auto on them all. Wanna make sure you get your CS. Alright, Volver, please gank. Family gank.
Okay, let's see what happens here. But not much, probably.
Nothing will happen, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, counter gank spot actually. If he thinks they can really win the PvP. No, I needed to bait it harder. But Volver's ain't fun.
Red team should be able to win this.
Sion's got a lot of damage, man. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I
Did
thought
you really-
he had it.
You really shouldn't underestimate Sion's damages.
The big thing there is you have to pay attention to levels. And Sion had 4 and 2 points in his Q. That's why he bursted so hard. Volver went at 3 and got bursted.
Hey, you should never forget that Sion, especially if he charges his Q all the way, it's a huge, huge burst.
Mm-hmm.
Volver needs to remember to use health potions there. He probably should have gotten his passive off if he bothered.
Okay, Nar did most of the damage there. Looking back at the replay.
Yeah, now Boomerang autos play the reverse as well. Okay. It's not good for Sion. No, it's good. I don't know. He got 4.
So Graves, you need to stop attacking minions. Just
Yeah, this
try
Twitch
to-
should be even in CS. Like, what the hell?
Graves is just, using his Q on the minion wave, plus auto attacking to shove it in. If I'm Cyan, I'm just camping bot now.
Yeah, I'm smiting raptors and running over bullet.
I mean, especially with how low health and mana Graves is, shouldn't be trying to be this aggressive. And not aggressive in a good way either.
No, this isn't even aggressive, he's just like playing PvE.
Yeah.
Which is, if Twitch is well on this wave, on tower, he's gonna be like ahead of you in CS now. Oh,
Shyvana, no.
that's cool. Alright, Shyvana at 6 first, she should just try an all-in now if she can get a jump. He's less health, but 6 is a big deal.
He's close to getting Mega Nara though. Oh my god.
Yeah,
If
she
you're
left
going,
six.
might TP as Shyvana. You want to get your jungle item as soon as possible. Getting a Vampiric Scepter and a boot is very not good.
There's Nar. Nar doesn't build a vamp item.
Well, he
I
is
guess
now.
you could go board, but
I've
it's not
seen,
good.
yeah, I've seen board.
He's one lethal thing. He doesn't scope items that well. His base damage is really high. That's good. Vana should be going back and taking her golems to smite. So this is not actually her assist. But he's doing a great job pushing. So try and let your support freeze if she is full health like this. Bot lane grades. Leona, if you full health like this, if you want to help Graves freeze, if he actually wanted to freeze, you would walk up to like the next wave as it's coming up, tank it out for like, I don't know, 1 to 5 seconds, whatever you feel comfortable with, and then walk in the bush to drop aggro.
Yep.
And that'll make sure that it like stays frozen.
Okay, good. I'm going back.
I guess there's some top action. Oh, both mids need to be looking to buy wards, and they kind of didn't. They mid warding in BA and BBC in general is really bad. When you play mid, you need to ward quite a bit, and they kind of get away with it with like how little the demos do early game, but it's not a good habit to get into. It's really easy, especially if you're the one pushing, because you just push in a wave and you walk up and ward raise, or just ward over the ledge or something.
Medieval Twitch is a pretty cool skin. I don't usually see it. I don't usually see Twitch, but
I don't know how you get that skin.
Get referrals.
that was
Oh.
the referral one.
I believe so, yeah. AKA buy an account. Or actually get the 2 referrals if he actually did. Oh.
You guys remember when referrals got you a RP? Good times.
So this is what Tuco was talking about it earlier. Oh wow. He was talking about earlier. You don't have to go for dragon. Just give up that dragon. Dragons are important, but like the only thing worse than giving up a dragon is giving up a dragon and kills. Sometimes you got no one to let it go. Twitch is actually doing pretty well because Graves was just controlling the line. Whoa.
Ouch.
Like now it's a bit
Also
premature,
W.
but
I think also, if he would have WQ'd, she couldn't have flashed it there. Sometimes if you really think they're gonna flash, you want to go for the combo. so that you're protected if they do flash, or if they don't flash, it still goes off. Because you'll W to them on flash. Okay, question mark. Wow. I'll see a big play.
So if you're going the top lane Shyvana and you do have this smite, you really need to be just trying to rush into that jungle item.
Oh, machete does well.
Yeah.
The dive, like, think about your damage and your CC and the dive. You guys blew all your CC and you didn't have anything to reposition or later. In grades 2, you got a big lead, and like the not throwing at dragon is important. Not throwing in lane is pretty important too. And Twitch is like Vayne, and no pun intended, they both come back by cheesing you if they fall behind. But kind of lets this cheeky there.
Oh, my mic was muted the entire time. Alright.
Oh, crazy, Phil.
No, I was gonna say that instead of getting Hunter's Machete, you should probably get the Ruby health item first.
Yeah.
To finish your
Yeah,
jungle item.
I've kind of like,
Because you don't get anything from Hunter's Machete unless you're just gonna be farming the jungle, which you haven't really been doing, so... You're just gonna get more stats from that health.
Wow. Alright, Twitch, you know Silent's probably gonna kill him there. I would have dipped out like 1 or 2 autos earlier just in case. You got lucky, but... Here's health pot. Anytime you don't health pot in a fight, you're losing like 3/4 of a ruby crystal. Or, I don't know, 150. A lot of a ruby crystal. Almost a ruby crystal.
Rubies are 380, right?
No,
Like,
rubies are 180.
In terms of health. In terms
Ruby
of health,
crystal's
no.
180.
I think it's 180.
It is 180.
I don't know. I don't
Health
buy that
pot's
item enough.
150.
Plus 150. Yep, it's actually a bit more than a ruby crystal, so.
Well, a health pot's 150, ruby crystal's 180. It's a little less. Oh no, ruby crystal's 150 now. Wow, so it's
Yeah.
exactly the same.
Biscuits are better.
The more you know.
Or you know,
We really do need a soundboard here, people.
we do. Make it really like.
The ghetto one. Make it a really ghetto.
See in the morning.
Now I used to look to what is that flash? I guess it's kind of special. Never need 2 mana fucking maybe carry. Switch. I like also getting the early Mobies. It helps he wants to roam. He's got the core, the GP10 that sets down the Mobies. Awesome builds. I see this so much. Really work on CS for UK mid laner. Because if your CS is not good, you'll get forced into a lot of awkward fights where you go back to 700 or 800, and then you just can't finish it, then you end up with like this Gallus Codex Silk Shoe combination, which really isn't fun.
Okay, so I noticed that Shyvana got a Stalker's Blade instead of getting a Skirmisher Saber.
Yeah.
The reason why Skirmisher Saber is so much better than any other jungle item on Shyvana top lane is because of that Smite activation. Doesn't like give you like 20 damage reduction if you smite somebody.
20%
And
damage reduction and true damage on hit.
Yeah,
For 3 seconds, 4 seconds ish.
Oh, 6.
but that's really good for dueling up in the top lane, or if you want to take less damage against an ADC versus a Stalker's Blade, which only gives you a slow and a little bit of damage.
I should look at his boots earlier too, so you can get around the map. You can either go like Ninja's Marks or Mobius at this point, but the Catalyst Rejuvenation beat is not a lot of pressure.
As Gnar, if you're looking to build defensive against Shyvana, you may consider going more of like a Spectre's Cow.
Yeah, early game Shyvana does more magic damage than physical damage. Her only physical damage is her Q, and you probably shouldn't be getting attacked by that if you are positioning right.
Goodbye, Twitch.
If you build Borg too, I hear this sometimes, you don't, like, some people think, oh, I'm gonna get Bilgewater and sit on it. Lifesteal's only so good, and it's, like, if you're sitting in lane and absolutely doing nothing, and you're not really all-inning each other, whatever, Lifesteal's okay. But, delaying whatever, like, the Reautom to get by 1400 is really rough. And, like, all-out trade, or anything besides, like, sustained laning. Lifesteal's not like the greatest stat to have anyway. Which is like Jax Aurelia. I don't know any good Jax Aurelia players that go Bilgewater into Trinity. You can't delay Trinity that long, and the Lifesteal's only good in like a very specific interaction. Or like regular laning.
Not to mention, if you opt to go Lifesteal over something like a Phage or a Sheen, you're losing. You're trading the ability to trade and burst someone for the ability to hopefully stay longer in lane.
Well, like Bilgewater into Bork is actually quite a bit of damage. Once you finish it, Bork gives you a lot of damage. So like the point I'm trying to make is, if you really want a Bork item, finish Bork. Don't sit on Bilgewater. If you really want to go tanky, go tanky. I don't think either of them should have Blade in this game, but if you want it, like, finish it. You don't get that, like, percentage damage of the active or anything until you finish it. You just get, like, this weird sustaining item that's not that powerful. I mean, I guess you get an active, but it's not as good. I like the mid laners upgraded trinket, but I guess they're both fun. That's good that they have wording to them. If you're playing really roam heavy, you want to usually get super mid, but
Yeah, like,
really
I'll never mind a mid laner getting the warding trinket, but it's good to also have that second sweeper on your team as well. Okay, so he's back.
Good. This is a big thing I've used a lot. When I'm smurfing, is a lot of times people play tanky supports and they'll just like know that they're tanky and they'll put themselves in harass range all game. It doesn't matter how tanky you are, free harass is free harass, you don't want to take it. And you can die if you're playing a good 80 carry and a tanky support. If you're in a really bad spot, they will just straight up kill you. Like exhaust the 80 carry or something.
can feel.
I actually look to TP with Mega right now.
I want that back.
Find one.
There's not really a good spot.
I thought red spot lane
Not
would
really
be warded
quite
on
sure
that
which popped heal, but
Yeah, this is a good time for blue team to probably contest dragon right now.
This game Twitch doesn't want to go like standard Bush Whip though. They're just too tanky with Leon and Shyvana and Polar Bear.
Red team
He wants to look at Blade into IE or Blade into PD. Both good though.
okay. What do you guys think about Righteous Glory on Scion as a second item?
I think he needs resist to back up all the free health he already has.
I don't like it. Like I feel like you're old enough of an engage tool where if you screw that up, you shouldn't be in a position where you can use Righteous Glory.
That's a good ignite. That's a ignite. Alright, so yeah, the Scion needs to look at Heart. It's good against Shyvana. It at least does stuff against Polar Bear. It's as far as AP champions go, it's better against Vizier than most. It's good against Graves. Like Heart would be so good for him right now.
Alistair should really be healing his team, just mashing that button. Also on Alistair, you usually max out your heal first, because most of the time you're not going to be in a position to knock people up over and over again, so that clown isn't really necessary.
I think it C-Max is good.
In most lanes, you're not in a position where you can really abuse that short cooldown on your Q, so
But you
it's
do
usually
get
better.
damage too. So you don't just get wrecked in 2v2.
blue team double kill.
The damage isn't great.
Is it
It's
right
something,
now?
but the heal is still more substantial than the damage.
Most of all the All-Stars are players next to you. So like, I kind of just consider it standard. 2 points in heal if you're really losing lane. You max heal though, like, in your losing lane, kinda have to go in some really weird spots to heal, because it really makes it like so easy for them to freeze on you. So it's just get your heal.
But I'm actually really surprised that almost everybody on both teams have their trinkets upgraded to something.
Jesus.
Honestly, on both Volleys and Scion side, I really would have wanted to see Sightstone,
I want Sweeper too.
and then like them trading out their wards for sweepers.
Even if you don't go Stone, like, you can't just have one Sweeper. There's no bueno. Just the replay guy.
Especially because Sweeper goes so well, not Sweeper, Sightstone goes so well with both Scion and Volley.
So that's a really big mechanical issue by Alistar. He wasn't confident in the fact that he could hit EQ there. I mean WQ. And he couldn't get into Q range. If he WQ'd Graves when Graves and Twitch were trading, Graves would have just died. But he didn't. Got a combo, man.
Yeah, both supports are really kind of
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I don't really know what Leona is, but I can tell when an All-Star is really scared that he's gonna miss his combo and just doesn't go for it. Right here, he needs to combo too. I mean, I guess he can wait if there's... Yeah, I didn't think so.
That
Heal secure.
that no, honestly, it would have been iffy because if Alistair didn't use that properly, he would have just let Graves get away.
Yeah, it's true. Also, it's like, I don't know, his win rate's really low because he's kind of awkward and weird to play. But,
Yeah.
if you want to play the harder champions, you need to be able to execute the harder mechanics that those champions have.
I disagree. I think Alistair's like combos, like for the most part, not really necessary.
You guys
It's
were
not
telling me that the
necessary.
other day. I have a couple of friends who are like really, really good at All-Star, and I told them that, and like, I think that's absolutely ridiculous. I just pointed out like 2 to 3 times where he had to combo and he couldn't Q. Like Twitch 100% died there because he couldn't combo. That's
He
like
died
a
there 'cause
big.
you stood there. You didn't do anything.
Yeah,
You
honestly,
just need to
there
punch
there
them
are
back.
multiple.
Yeah.
That he needed to punch them back and then also hit a few minions to give health to Twitch. He had 2 to 3 of his
Yeah.
whatever stock Argon stacks on himself. And then he tried to do it at the very last second, and it just ended up doing nothing.
Killing spree.
Very limiting, especially when you play better people that cut you out. Be kind of dumb to get like queued unless he flashes.
Science being policy. Volley usually want to push. You usually don't want to push the tanks toward the back line.
Blue team double kill.
Not incredibly hard, but very good.
How does Scion ult interact with
The zero wall?
a zero wall before it's completely placed?
I don't know.
I think you can go through it.
I think Sign actually can't go through it because
I
it's
can't.
considered a wall or
It's
terrain.
considered. I'm pretty sure it's considered a terrain once it's set. I'm not sure what it's considered as it's moving forward.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Because a Nivea wall doesn't stop Scion. It bounces him off like a ricocheted bullet, but it doesn't stop him.
Oster's got glory now. That's good. He can actually pick fights.
It's good if he's using it to pick fights.
I want to say that I could never say that blue side never has a chance of winning simply because they have an Ori, and Orianna using one good ult can change any game into a game you shouldn't win, but you did win.
Yeah, they
Ori is
really need
stupid.
to look to engage with All-Star Orianna.
Even Gnar Orianna is like really terrifying.
It is. Which Ori? Kappa.
They have up trinkets, but they're really not abusing the fact that they have upgraded trinkets.
This top lane's right, man. People are just like maxing skills off cooldown. There's no thought like going into this. It's good by Twitch and All-Star to recognize that they need to take tower here.
Twitch?
It was good.
I can understand Siobhan's thought process of trying to get a Bork because she built a Cutlass first. But you need to realize that you're really far behind and your team is as well.
Red team's turret
And you need to start going
destroyed.
tanky in order to start soaking up damage for your team.
Especially when you're going the jungle item route.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this, Twitch, you really shouldn't be afraid of swinging your ult to clear waves in situations where you know that their ADC is down and no one's gonna be contesting you at the turret.
Yeah.
Like in a situation where purple side would have responded quickly, you probably would have died right there because you guys were pushed up at the turret for so long, and you clearing that minion wave and then using your ult to take that turret would have been a lot more efficient and a lot safer. Oh god, that was beautiful.
It's interesting. Red team is like such good vision, but they're picking stuff about engages. I think an Aegis would have been good on that side. Yes. I think an Aegis is good on like every side in like every game. I don't know. It's a ridiculous item unless they're like 5 AD.
Yeah, especially Locket, like, that's 250 spread across 50, what am I talking, 250 spread about across 5 people, that's 1200, that's more than 1200 health, like.
Really good.
150.
Yeah.
Heal too, which isn't like affected by Morello's Ignite or some of the other health mechanics. Really good. You are right though, the Bowden. I would have liked to see Leona get Locket instead of Glory as well. I would like to see her finish I guess she was good.
I think we really need to get this point across, and it's that when you're playing support, you really shouldn't be building greedy items. And I understand that you feel like you guys need some level of initiation, but you're not in a position to initiate. Blue side is way too strong. You need to be playing defensively, and Righteous Glory is not gonna help with that. Especially since blue side doesn't really have that much to engage, so you like Righteous Glory is kind of overkill on the when you already have Shyvana, Azir, Leona, and Volibear. I see Scion has a Locket though.
I don't like Double Glory the most when they don't have heart. Oh, it's very tough. Or he's so fed though, she's just like styling on people. Although she might die here for sub recall. Yeah, she's dead. Kill Shyvana. Or does Leon have ult? No. Maybe she'll make it.
Glory has ult up again.
I would look to. I think she should have tried to punch Shyvana earlier so she couldn't chase. Like what she's cutting out. Not just his E's over and over again. E's and W's to run and shield. Volibear should really look for heart though. I don't really like fun out here. Both teams have like a lot of auto attacks.
I can see what he like they need more damage, but with the Shyvana Brave, and not to mention Volley already deals a bunch of damage, a Thornmail's kind of overkill.
Yeah, he's in a tough spot because Volley's in early game done well, and the early game was hindered. Those supports, I don't think I've seen like 8 pink wards this game, which is really not the best. Especially with supports. The reason I even need to look for that is I look at like how fast these supports are finishing items. It's really fast, which means if I'm not tanking at all. Your team needs to recognize how fat Orianna is and the fact that they hate to fight when Orianna's there. Also, this is it. Not a key. So Twitch is going for another Let's Go Adam. He needs damage. Double lifesteal like first and third is not really any AD carry besides maybe Callista. Lifesteal's a defensive stat. There's an AD carry 2 drops to like maximize damage. And one of them's okay sometimes, but
So what are you thinking? Maybe like a ghost play then?
they're too tanky. I would like to see PD sister.
Okay.
Ghostblade was good in like the meta before this, when Twitch was really popular, but against like 3 or 4 tanks, Ghostblade's not too hot.
Wash off.
He also doesn't have like a huge lead either, so Ghostblade's kind of like an question mark for me. Graves needs to be under the same line of thought though. Not that he's going for a second, but he needs damage.
Ghostblade is best like late to mid, and then like the early mid game, but for like mid to late, it's not the best.
It's usually second, and I always say if you can't finish Ghostblade before they finish their second item, you probably shouldn't be getting it, because you don't have a big enough lead to do anything with it. Some champions just really wanted it though, like old Twitch kind of always built it. Ooh.
I like it on like spellcasters, ADCs like Graves, but just preference. He has a really good engage. I would have wanted to pull him back.
exactly.
So this comes down to ward control. So once again, defensive wards by red team. They didn't have anything on river, so when blue team came up for river, they just like flanked them. Really, really important to like get some wards to actually do something. Whereas the defensive wards that you have like 4 or 5 in your jungle, but they don't do anything because by the time like you see them on the ward, you're dead.
Yeah, like honestly, at this point, red team should see that blue side has 2 righteous glories, and they should be warding in a position where, at any point, when they see the team coming, like they should have deeper wards at this point, like toward blue side, because yes, you have defensive wards, but when people have righteous glories, those are kind of irrelevant. It's the same when an enemy has a volley or a Rammus, you want to ward farther upriver, but you see them coming from a farther distance, because if you have it right next to the entrance, it's gonna be too late.
Blue team really needs to fight this. This is their best chance to get back into this game. Red team.
Red team.
Yeah.
Well, the blue team's doing fine. Yeah, when Ori's down like that, it's good support.
Did Twitch DC again? The AFK dragon keeps walking all the way back to base. That's good. Azir really needs to put out a lot of damage. If you have Graves that falls behind, you're playing mid, it's kind of on you to do the damage now.
Like right now, you're seeing why Volley's punished for not having a frozen heart over the Thornmail.
In all honesty, he waited like 35 minutes to get a magic resist item against a 12 kill Orianna.
And a Gnar.
Pretty questionable.
Has disconnected.
Gnar deals a crazy amount of bench health damage if he gets those 3 stacks off.
Mm-hmm.
2 DCs.
Yeah, one on each side, so it's even.
Oh, Twitch is going BT, it's so low in damage.
I like that everyone on blue team now has their upgraded trinkets. I think obviously would have liked.
I don't even see that in ranked games.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're better about NBA than like any elo I've been at, which is pretty high. People in ranked kind of just don't give a shit sometimes.
Sometimes, isn't that most of the time? At least in lower divisions. Division 5, that's when you run into people that are just like, eh, whatever, who cares?
I would say the biggest difference when you get higher is one, like people who ward more, especially in the roles that should ward more, like jungle support and kind of mid in the lane phase.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest difference is like offensive warding and sweeping. My wards placed per game aren't that high. It should probably be a lot higher. But I have like 7 or 8 ward kills per game in ranked, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's pretty normal if you play like mid or jungle. If you play roam heavy mids like I do, or like jungle, you should be aiming for like 6 to 9 a game. That's not what I'm seeing here at all. You really
I agree
need
with
to smack
Leona.
out those on cooldown.
I agree with Leona, it's potty break time.
I'm support my way to support's good. You don't listen to the stigma if you can't climb with support elo. You only need 55% to climb, and if you're actually like way better than the person you're playing, you can climb as a support. The only downside to it is you do climb slower.
It depends. I will say it depends on the support you play. Like like Daze, for example, Daze can climb really fast because she plays Sona. But
I
if you're
did it with
someone like
Janna.
no, if you're a Janna Alistair main, you're gonna climb a lot slower than you're gonna climb with someone that's like Annie, Zyra, or
I did it really
like-
fast with Janna. She's just OP.
I think
That's
this
so fun.
yeah.
really works well.
Just in lower elo, just supports that can either A, initiate or do damage just tend to do really well in bronze or silver.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can take the opportunity to like pick someone off when they're out of position. Versus a Janna, which is a little bit harder to do versus maybe a Blitzcrank or a Sona.
It just comes down to, it doesn't really matter what champion you play. There's people who've gotten masters playing like only Poppy support. Like if you just like dumpster the person you're playing, you'll go up in elo. And if you're actually better than them, you will dumpster them.
Yeah, it does come down to just like knowing your champion better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will say that changes the higher you go up. Like once you hit
Yeah.
probably like plat, even if you're better than them, they're smart enough to realize that you're better than them, and so they play it back. So they make sure that they make less mistakes.
It's still
Or
not-
if they do make mistakes, they're in a position where you can't really abuse the fact that they made that mistake.
It depends. I mean, if you're in plat and you're a plat player, yes. If you're in plat, like when I had to redo placements this year and I had to do like placements against plat 3 players and like I got placed in plat 1 and is like if you're not actually a plat player, you'll still dumpster people. And it's like if you're support and you're a gold player and you're in silver, you'll beat the people you're playing. If you don't beat the people you're playing, it's probably because you're just a silver player. If you have one bad game, don't stress about it. It's not like he beat me this one game, blah blah blah. But if you look back on your last 20 or last 50 games or whatever, and the win percentage is 50%, like you're probably where you should be until you get better.
Yeah, like
Sample
we
size
beat
is
Bao
really
Bao.
important.
We've beat Bao Bao, so obvious all deserve Diamond 1, right?
I hate that, man. People are like, I beat this diamond guy in lane once. That means I can lane against diamonds. It's like, what? What the hell?
Okay, so if this is still paused by the time people in game hear this, you might want to just move on. I think.
Yeah.
It's really amusing that this game with the pause is actually moving up to the 50-minute mark
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
I predicted.
I'll give it another like 30 seconds. I doubt it though, because it's 2 DCs.
Mhm.
How does that even happen?
The luck of the draw.
A summoner has
Oh,
raised.
one bad.
Grape
one.
Squad.
See if you get Twitch.
Twitch reconnected the other time.
It has significant. Yeah, that's a really good point. It's solo queue to not give up.
Mm-hmm.
It'll get harder though. You will get to a point at like, I don't know, 2,000, 2,100, 2,200, where people really do give up if lanes get crushed. And it's kind of a reasonable assertion if people in the game are good because they actually like push their lead and it's harder to throw. I think people always like joke about Korean solo queue because like if a lane goes 0-2, everybody AFKs and goes mid.
The thing I will say though is with the current meta, if your lane gets dumpstered in terms of top lane or in terms of the jungle, it's pretty much GG if they're with certain champions. Like it doesn't matter even if they fuck up. It's like you have a super tank that deals a shit ton of damage. It's irrelevant if they get caught out because they're probably just gonna walk out and not give a damn.
If you can turtle till 30 or 40 minutes and they bad carries, you always have a shot. At
Like,
30
I
or
usually
40 minutes
quit-
if carries are bad, it's kind of...
I quit games like about the time I surrender is when they're up on like by 30 kills or when like the only people that have kills is our like top laner and then our AD carry is like 1 in 8 and our mid laner is like 1 in 7.
If 2 lanes lose bad and we lose first dragon, usually I see like a surrender vote in my game, and I usually hit yes. But it is much different if you go up and down in elo. That is pretty hard to come back from. What do we have? I think I'm gonna do solo queue this weekend. I did do so. Alright.
A summoner has
This is
raised.
bad.
Hey, there's Glitch.
Hakuna Matata.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Anna means family.
But stop.
Should really be a last run very soon. Yeah, there should be.
Let's talk about the game here.
Yeah. They're running around.
Yeah. Neither team really has good ward control. The blue team has a couple wards really deep, but like those aren't providing you any really useful information. You need to be working more on, at this point, warding out.
Alistair honestly should have just gotten the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Honestly, the best way to always come back from games is always grouping up as 5. Because more than likely the other team isn't probably grouped up all the time.
Unless it's not good for your combo.
Yeah.
Unless there's like one med person on your team, and then the enemy kills are distributed. That's when you kind of want to group as 4, push an opposite lane, and then let the other person split push if they have good waves to it.
Yeah, and you don't get to farm a lot when you're behind sometimes. So make sure when you take a wave, you tank out the second wave and make sure it pushes back. Because if you just like take 2 waves and shove it really hard, you're kind of screwing your team.
Blue side really shouldn't have worked out.
Oh, the Oriana Q hit rate so hard.
Especially when Sion only has like a handful of armor. Sion, you only have
Yeah,
155
Graves was
armor.
in a really good position to instantly give the Twitch and Oriana.
He had less whisper, man.
Why do people love postponing armor pens so much in these games?
Let's just say end up on Reddit.
Well, most people's mindset are like, well, I need lifesteal in order to survive team fights.
Let's do
When-
good.
And
It
the
certainly
actuality is that you need armor pen and that last whisper in order to deal the maximum amount of damage.
Lifesteal is really good, and like I certainly built it on the champions to build it. But I think sustain and lifesteal are like 2 of the most overrated stats in lower elo ever.
Respawning soon.
Yeah,
Especially people really, really value sustain on junglers, where I think it's not that big a
This
deal
is-
if you're good at ganking.
This is coming from a guy that used to do the whole double to triple phantom dancers and triple BTs on Trinity in season 1.
Alright, that was a different time.
dude, I
Bloodthirsters
didn't
are
play
still
like that.
stacked.
No, yeah, that's back. That's how I learned that how like healing is so overrated in terms of like stats and lower elo. Back in the bronzy age.
Lifesteal's just conditional, whereas like every other stat in this game is almost promised.
It's me!
There's always that.
Like the biggest issue is that if I knew they were gonna be doing this Baron, they really should have done some level of wave control for top and bot lane. Like they're pushing in, and this is gonna cause a problem if they delay it.
The blue team warded out their jungle really hard, but they don't. They only have 1 sweeper. Well, where's Grace going?
I will say Nar's doing a good job of harassing.
Where's this Grace going? Great Oreo, let's try again. So don't pick a fight when your AD carries out. Grace is gone, it's a big deal.
That's too bad too, because that zero out was also really good.
You gotta be trying to move when you're auto attacking.
Yeah, same with Twitch, man, that was
Yeah.
crazy.
Both of them just stood there the whole time.
This happened bot lane earlier too, when I thought, oh, that shit, the VQ, they both did that again. They still. It's like, what is that, Rochambeau? Whatever the hell you call it.
I kick you in the nuts, Kenny.
Red team's inhibitor has been destroyed.
No, what? Why pink ward? Go Nexus. Nexus greater than pink ward.
It only gives 25 gold.
True. Oh, 20.
Funny, oh yeah. Yeah, big 30. Both junglers really need to go into loading screen with pre-planned raids, almost. He's really Orioles are crazy.
So when you're
They're
pushing
kinda
within the
getting
base,
into
especially, you really need to be taking care of watching timers. Because that could have turned out a lot worse than it did.
Have a lot, like literally all game, especially if you play jungle, because you need to be watching ward purchases. That's like one of the biggest like weird things. Like if you just want to practice one thing besides last sitting, like if you've probably been told that like 100 times, it's hitting tab a lot because most good players do it, and a lot of lower EO players just don't. And there's so much information you should like be processing during the downtime. Especially anytime I go into a team fight, I hit tab because I need to check item buys and power spikes. If an AD carry just bought QSS and I do certain things on mid laners in a team fight, it could turn out really bad if I don't know that they have QSS or something. Important to check things before team fights.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
I really want to see them get elixirs here. I haven't seen that. Oriana did, but I think it might just because she's at full items are pretty close to it.
I will say elixirs are actually like a huge power spike on champions like, well, not power spike, but more like sustained spike, I guess, on champions like Graves. Just because like how much.
Why would you not want to buy elixir Lion? He's
5k health on him. Oh my god.
Yep, that's the power of Scion. But if you notice, his resistances are lacking.
So, Leona Wolfmonks, I can't think of a situation you ever build Wolfmonks on.
You can do it if they're targeting you, but
there's
I really
always
don't like
something else
it.
you can build.
Yeah.
Top and jungle actually can build Wolfmonks, but unfortunately.
Like I've had situations where I play Janna and full just all in dive man. Even then, I opted for a GA over a Warmog.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Okay, so that should be game.
Yeah, that should be game. It was a 54-minute, well, more like a 50-ish minute game, 52 minutes, considering the pause.
Yeah. Okay. So that'll be games here for us. Thanks everyone for joining. We'll be back here next week, or if you are between level 30 and gold 1, you can join us here on Thursdays for Battle Arena. It goes on. So have a good day. Watch the LCS.
What games are on